TechFam assemble! A challenge has been issued to see who can build the best $1,000 RTX 3080 gaming machine. That doesn't leave much on the table for the rest of the components. The challengers: Greg Salazar, Tech by Matt, Scattervolt, Zach's Tech Turf, Toasty Bros, Ostalks Hardware, Nerd on a Budget, and of course us, Coalition Gaming. Nobody challenges the Mad Mexican and wins. Mad Mexican? What the fuck? Real quick, if you're new around here and are into PC, hardware, tech, gaming, stream tips, tutorials, news and reviews, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and that bell so you don't miss a single upload. Also, I stream to Twitch every Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/Coalition Gaming Crew, so feel free to stop in, drop a follow, and talk some tech. Anyways, let's get to the video. Is $1,000 enough for an RTX 3080 based gaming rig? The MSRP of the 3080 is $700, so that leaves you with only $300 for the rest of the system. Think about that for a second. $300 to build the best system that you can to pair with the RTX 3080. What parts would you end up with? Okay, sure, the 3080 is really hard to get right now. I wouldn't say impossible. One of my coworkers got screwed out of one on launch day by bots or whatever, just like everyone else. But you know what? He eventually got a 3080 still. Go EVGA and their new Q system. It really worked out. Anyways, most people buying this graphics card have a beast of a computer to go with it. But what if you don't? What if you have something old or something weak but really want an RTX 3080, then eventually plan to catch up the rest of your system to it? Well, this is the video for you. When the RTX 2060 originally dropped, I took part in a $600 build competition with the TechFam utilizing the 2060. Back then, that left a PC build budget of $250. Well, now we're doing that again, but with the 3080 and bumping the total budget to $1,000, which still only leaves $300 for the rest of the build. This is gonna be pretty tight. So right about now, you might be asking yourself what I ended up with. All I gotta say is, man, do I love Xeons. The motherboard, HP Z420. This is a Sandy Bridge era C600 chipset board, or X79 as most consumers know it. This platform can even take high frequency 8-core 16-thread Xeons like the E5-1650 V2, which we have a build video on, so make sure to check that out, link down below and right up here as well. And it can support massive amounts of cheap RAM. The CPU for this build is a Xeon E5-1650. This is a 6-core, 12-thread Sandy Bridge CPU, aka 2nd gen. The IPC of the CPU might hold me back a bit, but the multi-core performance should still be pretty good. The CPU and motherboard came as a bundle deal, which I got on eBay for $95. This motherboard doesn't use a standard ATX power connector though, so I needed an adapter, which I got for $11 off eBay. For system RAM, I went with two 8GB sticks of registered DDR3 1600 server RAM for $20, also off eBay. For storage, I went with a 500GB hard drive for $12 and a 128GB SSD for $14, both off eBay as well. Power supply is an Apivia Prestige 800-watt 80+ gold for $66.99. This might sound risky because Apivia isn't known for good power supplies, but reviews on this one point out that they changed OEMs and are now of decent quality. Besides, I didn't really have much choice. The CPU cooler I went with is the Ida Cooling SE224XT. It's a 4 heat pipe cooler, looks nice for a basic unit, and costs $22.94. Now, for the case, I definitely needed something cheap, but since the budget is so tight, I also wanted fans included. This really changed how I consider cases, and I ended up with a DIY PC Dragon R from Newegg for $57.99. This case is nice because the front has both tempered glass and mesh. Kind of weird, right? Can't say that I've really seen that before. But more importantly, it has 4 included red LED fans. Airflow will be on point. All right, so let's add that up. $95 for the motherboard and CPU, $11 for the power supply adapter, $20 for the RAM, $12 for the hard drive, $14 for the SSD, $66.99 for the power supply, $22.94 for the cooler, $57.99 for the case. Total comes out to $299.92. Holy crap, did I push that $300 limit. But I think this is a very complete system all around. No compromising with just a regular hard drive in there, or a 5400 RPM drive, or an ugly case, or a case with no fans, nothing like that. It's the complete package. So add the RTX 3080 at MSRP, and boom, $998.92 grand total. Since this is a competition among us TechFam homies, and we're all in different states, we decided not to count taxes in the prices, since that varies for each of us. Whatever the cost is, plus shipping, and there we go. So I gathered all the parts together, set my cameras up, and headed over to Twitch to stream the PC build. If you haven't followed us on Twitch yet, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/Coalition Gaming Crew to do that. You could have had a sneak peek at this build nearly a month before it was unveiled on the YouTube channel. Anyways, the whole thing went pretty smoothly. This case, while a little on the flimsy side, was very easy to build in, so no real complaints here. It was great just chatting with the stream while building it. Always a good time. Though for the stream, since the RTX 3080 was in use doing the stream encoding, a GTX 460 backup GPU was subbed in for the moment. So if you don't see the stream footage, if you don't see the 3080 in the stream footage, that's why. After a couple of hours, the build was complete. Then it was time to install Windows, download the benchmarks, swap the 3080 in, and get to benchmarking. One little caveat I forgot to mention, overclocking is allowed. Last time I was able to use Intel XTU to software overclock the CPU to 4 GHz, and I was hoping to do the same with this Z420 and Unlock Xeon, but I didn't luck out, and I couldn't overclock at all. This is really going to negatively impact me, especially on single-threaded performance. However, I was able to lock in a good plus 130 MHz core clock and plus 600 MHz VRAM overclock on the 3080 FE. So hopefully that makes up for it a little bit, maybe. With the platform that I went with, I'm sure some of the other guys will crush me in single-threaded performance, but I think I'll do pretty well overall. As I mentioned previously, this is an entry for our TechFam collab build-off. Scattervolt, Nerd on a Budget, OzTalks Hardware, Tech by Matt, Toasty Bros, Zach's Tech Surf, and even Greg Salazar are all partaking. And one of the reasons that we leaned heavily towards canned benchmarks is because of that. It makes things easier for everyone. Make sure to check out each of their individual videos on their entries and see how they stack up to mine. I'll have links to everyone's video in the description below as they release them. Whose do you think was the best looking? What did you think of the build? Did it do better or worse than you expected? I don't think any of us will be recommending these builds to do with a 3080, but hey, doing this is just part of the fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. Follow us on all our socials, link down below, and make sure to follow on our Twitch. We'll see you in the next video. Bye. Also, we got a lot of other videos over here. The full RTX 3080 review, bunch of other content. Make sure you check out one of those. Yeah, have you clicked one yet? No? Come on, click one. Click one. Click.